adebayo, olamide, and you're welcome to healthystreet. Today we are going to be talking about blood group and the significance of knowing your blood group. A lot of people find it very difficult in differentiating between their blood group and their genotype. I made a video on genotype. If you haven't seen that, I strongly advise that you do so. I will drop the link to the video in the description box down below. Without further much delay, let's get started. As a means of reminder, blood is the substance that is found in our blood vessels, and within our blood is the plasma, and suspended in the plasma are the blood cells. We have the white blood cells, the red blood cells, and the platelets, and they have their various functions. But today we are going to be focusing on the red blood cells. Blood is being grouped into various classes based on various systems, but for the purpose of this video we are going to be concentrating on the ABO system. The ABO system groups blood into A group, B group, AB group, and O group based on the presence of antigens, the A and B antigens on the surface of the red blood cells, and the presence of antibodies within the plasma. What are antigens? Antigens are genetically coded proteins that are located on the surface of the red blood cells, and they denote the blood group. That is, if you have the A antigen on your red blood cell, you belong to the A blood group. If you have the B antigens on your red blood cell, you belong to the B blood group. If you have both A and B antigens on the surface of your red blood cell, you are grouped as the AB group. Some individuals have neither A nor B antigens on the surface of their red blood cells. They are termed O blood group. Now to the antibodies. Antibodies are proteins that are found within the plasma, not on the red blood cells. They are found within the plasma, and they protect the body against invaders. They are usually the opposite of what you have on the red blood cells. That is, for example, the A blood group, we say they have the A antigens on their red blood cells. That means they are going to have antibody B. Individuals that belong to the B blood group have B antigens on their red blood cell. They are going to have antibody A. Individuals that have AB blood group, we said they have both A and B antigens on their red blood cells. They will not have any antibody within their plasma. Individuals that have no antigens on their red blood cell, we said they are termed O blood group. They have both A and B antibodies within their plasma. Why is it important that we know our blood group? Blood is being transferred from individual to individuals, and that is known by a procedure called blood transfusion. The individual that donates his blood is known as the donor. The individual that receives the blood is known as the recipient, and this procedure has been a lifesaver. But we have to ensure that we receive blood that are compatible with ours in order to prevent transfusion reactions. Transfusion reactions can be life-threatening. It can be from fever to anemia to a lot of reactions that could eventually lead to death. How do we know blood that are compatible with ours? That is very easy. Remember that I said that within the plasma we have the antibodies. The antibodies will not want corresponding antigens to come into the blood of the recipient. That is, during blood transfusion, we consider the antibodies of the recipients and the antigen of the donor. Take for example the A blood group. Individuals with A blood group, recall we said they have the A antigens on the surface of their red blood cells, and they have the antibody B. Recall that we said we do not want corresponding antibody an antigen. So this antibody B present in the blood of the A blood group do not want antigen B to come into the blood of the A blood group. It will see it as invaders, so it will not receive blood from the B blood group because it has the B antigen on it. It do not want blood from the AB blood group because it also has B aside the A on it. It also has the B antigen on the surface of the red blood cell, because once antibody B and antigen B comes together, it will cause agglutination, it will cause transfusion reaction, and we do not want that. The antibody B will launch attack against antigen B of any sort. So what blood do not contain antigen B? The B blood group has antigen B. The AB blood group has antigen B. The O group doesn't even have any antigen. So blood group A can receive blood from A blood group like itself and blood group O. Blood group O are termed universal donor because they don't even have any antigen that will react to the antibodies of the recipients. Let's take for example blood group AB. Blood group AB has both antigen A and B on the surface of their red blood cells. Remember, we said they do not have antibodies within their plasma, so they do not have any soldiers to attack any invaders, so that's why they can receive blood from A. They don't have antibodies that react to A. They don't have antibodies that react to blood group B. They don't have antibodies that react to people like themselves to AB. They can also receive blood from O because O's do not have any antigens, so they are termed universal recipients. Let's take for example also the blood group O. The blood group O do not have any antigens, but they have both A antibody and B antibodies within their plasma. Recall that I said we consider the antibody of the recipients and the antigen of the donor. We do not want corresponding antibodies and antigen together. But O has both A and B antibodies. That's why it cannot receive blood from any blood group aside itself, but it can donate blood to all blood groups because it do not have antigens. That's why they are termed universal donor, but they can only receive blood from themselves. That's other O groups. The next point we're going to be considering is the rhesus factor. The rhesus factor is the presence of another type of antigen termed antigen D. It is present on the red blood cells, but some individuals have these antigens while others do not have these antigens. Individuals that have these D antigens are termed rhesus positive, while individuals that lack these antigens are termed rhesus negative. You're wondering, what about the antibodies? The antibodies to antigen D are not naturally occurring. They only occur when the individual is being sensitized. What causes this sensitization is individuals can be sensitized to develop these antibodies to antigen D through blood transfusion, through miscarriage, through amniocentesis. That's a procedure during pregnancy. It also could be during delivery. That's when these antibodies to antigen D will develop. It is very important to know your rhesus factor. That is what groups blood further. When you have the A blood group, you now see individuals with A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, and so. I will give you an example of the importance of rhesus factor. Mostly, if the father is positive of a child during pregnancy, if the husband is rhesus positive, that means he has these antigens too, and antigen D on his red blood cell, and the wife is negative, that means she has no D antigens, there's a 50% that the child will be rhesus positive. We said this woman that is negative has no antibodies, she has no antibodies to the D antigens, and she has no D antigens too. During parturition or during the 3rd trimester, the blood of the mother and the child could come together and interact. That will sensitize the mother to develop antibodies to this antigen, so it prepares her, like gets into her body and sensitize her. Her own blood starts developing these antibodies, almost like starts producing this antibody. The first child will escape the penalty. The mother now, she's already sensitized, she already now has these antibodies to the D antigen. Should in case she gets pregnant with another rhesus factor positive child, during the fertile life, the antibodies could cross the placenta, and these antibodies will coat this rhesus positive red blood cells. It will coat it and destroy them, causing anemia, jaundice, and this could lead to erythroblastosis fetalis. This is very life-threatening. It can lead to the death of the baby. So it is very important to know your rhesus factor. If a rhesus positive man gets married to a rhesus positive woman, fine. If a rhesus positive negative man gets married to a rhesus positive woman, that's also fine. But the main problem is when a rhesus positive man gets married to or impregnates a rhesus negative woman. That's when this whole process would occur. It also applies to transfusion, the sensitization, development of antibodies, so that next time she comes in contact or he comes in contact with a rhesus positive blood, the already developed antibodies will launch attack. We've come to the end of today's video. I hope you were able to learn one or two. I strongly advise that you check your blood group, check your rhesus factor, check your genotype. These are all information we should know about ourselves. Please do well to like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and share with your loved ones. Bye.